What's up, Bills Mafia? The Buffalo Bills season has come to an end, and now the Buffalo Bills 2024 offseason is about to begin. But the Buffalo Bills find themselves in the red in the salary cap, and that's not a good thing. But before we get to that, let's get to that intro.
This is VZ Music.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. Well, Bills Mafia, the 2023 Buffalo Bills season is over with, unfortunately, and now we're gonna have to look, into the 2024 season and talk about that and what we need to do as far as re-signing players, signing free agents, and obviously the NFL draft coming up. So, guys, the Buffalo Bills right now are one of the worst as far as salary cap goes. Let me pop that on the screen for y'all to see here. All right, here we go. So here's a list of the top best cap space all the way down to the worst. The Commanders right now are sitting pretty at $73.7 million. The Titans at $71.9 million. The Texans, $70 million. Looking good for them. And, they were a playoff team. So I like that team. I like the direction they're going. I like their head coach. If they can add the right pieces, watch out for the Texans. Patriots, $66.1 million. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that. If they bring in a quarterback or they draft one. The Colts at 62.8, Bengals at 59.4, which is really good for the Bengals. Look at the Lions at 58.6, and they are right, scary. Because guys, they are in the NFC Championship game, and that is a dangerous team. And man, with that much money in cap, watch out, because now players are going to obviously want to play for a winning team in the Detroit Lions. In the past, that was never the case, right? They would have to give up a boatload of money for a player to want to go play for Detroit. Now, that's not the case. So, a lot of money for the Lions to play with this offseason. And let's just skip down to the very, very end here where the worst teams. The worst is the Saints right now, 83.7. Yikes. I don't know what they're going to do there. That's a lot of money in the red. The Dolphins at 31 at 51.9. The Chargers at 45.8. And here is our Buffalo Bills at 43.7. And they're asking, did the window close? No, it's not closed. It's a very good team still. And we have an excellent GM. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit of how that the Buffalo Bills can get back in the green. So let's go ahead and pop that on the screen so you guys could kind of see what we could do potentially to find ourselves back in the green. So let's go ahead and pop this up here so you guys can see it a little bit bigger picture here, and I'll go ahead and zoom that in for you as well. So let me go ahead and zoom that in, and that didn't work. So let's see if I can zoom that in better. There we go. Okay, so I even made it worse, guys. I apologize. Let's see here. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see if I can get this on the screen better. I'm trying to get you guys a good look at what needs to be done in order for this team to get in the right space. So here we go. Okay, That's much better. All right, so here's what they need to do. One, you can extend Dion. Well, let's start with the first one. You can process a full base salary plus $6 million roster bonus for Josh Allen. That's going to free up 22.7 of the cap. That's a lot. That's a big chunk. Also, you could process a $5 million roster bonus to Dawson Knox. That'll free up $4 million of cap, voiding the two void years as well. When factoring the 2 void years, you can extend Dion Dawkins, which I believe they will. That'll lower his 16.6 cap hit for 2024. Dawkins projects towards an $18 million per year contract in our system. Process a full base salary plus $1 million roster bonus conversion on Mitch Morse. That'll free up $5.3 million of cap space when factoring in 4 void years. You can extend cornerback Teron Johnson, lowering his $12.4 million hit for 2024. Johnson projects to a $14 million per year contract in their system. You can extend Rasul Douglas, which I believe they will. It'll lower his $9 million cap hit for 2024. Douglas projects to about $14 million per year in their system. Release Trey White. Now that's the one that I think that will happen. That's the thing that I know Bills Mafia is on the fence about, but I think it probably needs to be done. 2 straight years with season-ending injuries. He's getting paid a lot of money. You release Trey White, you save that 6.2. You have his replacement in Rasul Douglas. I think that's the right thing to do. The only thing if you do keep Trey White, that maybe he takes a cut. You redo his contract. But I don't know if Trey's going to want to do that or Brandon Beane's just thinking the right thing to do probably is just to go ahead and release Trey White. You also can release Saron Neal, which is one of my favorite players on special team. I think he's a really good player, but that'll free up 2.8 of cap as well. And then you could waive DeMar Hamlin. That'll free up about $1 million. Now that probably won't be a fan fan-friendly decision, but it's a decision that probably needs to be made. But it's not a lot of. I don't think it's a huge cap hit. They may keep DeMar Hamlin still, but we'll see. Also, somebody did ask Sport Track, what about releasing Nyheim Hines and Hardy? So if you release Hines and Hardy, that'll free up another $9.1 million, and I think they should do both. I think you definitely should release Nyheim Hines. And Deontay Hardy, unfortunately, I thought he was going to be better in this system. We either didn't know how to use him or use him correctly, that is, or he just doesn't fit this system that we're trying to do here in Buffalo. And we paid him a pretty good penny for a 2-year contract. So I think by releasing them both is probably the right thing to do as well. Now, let's get back to it. So now that you guys saw that, I do want to show you guys the list of free agents for the Bills that are going to be free agents. So let's go ahead and pop that on the screen here so you guys can understand who is going to be a free agent for the Buffalo Bills. And I'll get a better, there we go. So here we go for the list of players. So we're going to start with first wide receiver Gabe Davis. As you guys know, he's 24 years old. He just got done with his rookie deal. I think the Buffalo Bills are probably going to, pass on signing wide receiver Gabe Davis. I think they know they know what Gabe Davis offers. They understand. They've seen enough, basically. They know what Gabe Davis is all about, what he can provide for this team. I truly thought that Gabe Davis could turn into a quality number 2, but this was the year for me. If he was going to show that, he would have, considering it was a contract year. And I just think Gabe Davis has reached a ceiling, his ceiling that is. And now, I will say this, though. Change of scenery Gabe Davis maybe can be that number 2 somewhere else. But right now, with the Buffalo Bills being 4 years in, he just never got there. I didn't think he was bad. Like a lot of people were dogging him. I still think he put up decent numbers as a number 2 while he was here. But he just could never get to that true number 2 that we've been all looking for in Buffalo. So I think Gabe Davis will get paid somewhere, and I don't think that Brandon Beane's going to match it. I think the Buffalo Bills are looking to move on and find either a receiver in free agency or through the draft. All right, next up, wide receiver Trent Sherfield. He did sign only a 1-year deal with us, and I don't expect him to be back. He provided nothing for the Buffalo Bills offense this year. He did good at blocking. He was a good, physical blocking receiver, but that's not what we brung him here for. We thought he would, do what he did in Miami, which in Miami, he had nearly 500 yards receiving, which was really good considering all the weapons they had in Miami. But he just never caught on to this offense. And once again, this could be a Ken Dorsey thing, right? Early on, we had Ken Dorsey calling the plays. And it could just be scheme. He just doesn't fit this scheme. And maybe he'll go somewhere and, do what I thought he would do here initially. But I don't see the Buffalo Bills re-signing Trent Sherfield. All right, next up, running back Latavius Murray. 34 years old running back. I appreciate what he did here. I think he's had a really good career. But the Bills are going to move on. There's a reason why they only signed him for 1 year this year. But you can see his age creeping up towards the tail end of the season, started slowing down. And, he's exactly what we want. It's just he's an older running back. But that is what we need. We do need a bigger back for the short yardage, goal line situations. Also a pass protecting back because James Cook lacks pass protection. But unfortunately, Latavius Murray's on the tail end of his career. But yeah, I don't expect the Buffalo Bills to re-sign Latavius Murray. Running back Ty Johnson. He's 26 years old. He is a free agent. We only signed him to 1 year. That's an interesting decision there. I think if he's willing to come back on a friendly deal, a team-friendly deal, let's say another 1 year deal, I wouldn't mind him coming back at all. I thought he was a boost to this offense in the running game, and I thought he ran hard. So yeah, I would definitely welcome him back depending on how much he's asking for. Okay, next up, Damian Harris. No, he's gone. Okay. I told you guys from the beginning when we signed him as a free agent last year that it was, not a risky move, but it was, I wouldn't get too excited for it because of his injury, his history of injuries. He just, I feel bad for the guy because he's a good running back when healthy. The problem is he's not healthy often. And maybe it's just a string of bad luck. I don't know. But I wouldn't feel comfortable re-signing him because of that history of injury. So more than likely, he will move on to free agency, and I don't see the Bills re-signing him. Quarterback Kyle Allen, which is Josh's buddy, as backup quarterback. Whatever. It comes back cheap, fine. I don't think he's a very good backup quarterback. But once again, he knows the system. He knows Josh Allen, blah, blah, blah. But he just doesn't do it for me, guys. So we'll see what happens. He would probably be a cheap addition. He probably would come back on a cheap contract, a team-friendly deal, let's say. You don't want to overpay on a backup. Josh Allen, for the most part, he's been injury free, at least for games wise. Now he's gotten banged up during seasons, but never really misses games. So I'm not overly concerned about getting paying top dollar for a backup quarterback either. So we'll see what the Buffalo Bills do. It is interesting. I think what the Buffalo Bills should do, if it was me, I was Brandon Beane, I would draft a quarterback late in the NFL draft. You got 10 draft picks this year. You can use one of them on a quarterback. Let him sit behind Josh. Let him learn the system. Then you got him locked up for 4 years on a rookie deal. That's the way to do it. You draft a quarterback that would fit this system if needed, meaning, God forbid, if Josh went down, he could fit the scheme, right? Kyle Allen does not do that, in my opinion. So I would let Kyle Allen walk, and I would draft a quarterback. So that's just my opinion. All right, next up, tight end Quentin Morris. 25, he's exclusive right free agent. We'll see what they do. I wouldn't mind him coming back. I could see him coming back on a cheap deal, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't mind seeing Quentin Morris back. You had that third tight end. He knows the system. He would probably be a cheap deal to bring back. We'll see what they do with Quentin Morris. Offensive lineman David Edwards. We only signed him 1 year. He was a great depth piece when he did have to come in on the rare occasion when an offensive lineman went down. Can't believe I'm having a brain fart here. Oh my God. I'm having a brain fart. Anyways, when he had to come in, for McGovern. See, guys, I got so much going through my mind. When he had to fill in for McGovern, I thought he did a very good job. So I would like to see him come back for sure. I wonder if Brandon Beane gives him a 1 to 2 year deal. Because offensive linemen, guys, are hard to find, good ones, that is. And I feel like David Edwards is a borderline starting offensive lineman, and that would be a great addition to have as a depth piece for that offensive line group. For me, I bring him back if he's willing to come back on once again, on a decent deal, right? You don't want to overpay either. But that's one guy I think that does good for this team, and a guy that I would like to see back on this roster. All right, next up, safety Micah Hyde. 33-year-old safety Micah Hyde. Listen, guys, his wife wrote a letter to Bills Mafia 2 days ago saying thank you for all the memories, all that good stuff. He's gone. He's done. I truly believe Micah Hyde is going to retire from the NFL. He's had 2 neck surgeries. This year, he's missed a couple games due to his neck. Had the stingers, and you could tell when he did his final press conference that it was bothering him, and he even said that he didn't think he would return this season. So. For me, I know Micah Hyde's thinking about his future. He's thinking about his kids, his wife, and I totally understand. So he's a free agent. I just don't see Micah Hyde just returning at all, signing with anyone. I think that's it for Micah. I think he's had a hell of a career, and I'm gonna miss Micah Hyde, no doubt about it. He was an awesome Buffalo Bill. We signed him in 2017 with Jordan Poyer. And sad to see him go, but he'll be celebrated, from Bills Mafia for sure for the things that he did here. All right, next up, safety Taylor Rapp, 26 years old, still young, did battle through some injuries this year, because he plays physical. He's a physical safety. I thought it was a great pickup by Brandon Beane this past season, 1 year deal. He filled in, when Poyer went out, for a little bit there, when Micah Hyde. So I like Taylor Rapp. I like what he brings to the table. If he's willing to come back once again on a decent deal, a team-friendly deal, I say definitely you bring him back for at least a year. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if Brandon Beane goes through free agency for safety. He looks elsewhere or through the draft. Because right now we are getting thin, very thin at safety, and I'm just not trusting the guys right now, the younger guys that we have, in the room right now to take on that role, especially if Jordan Poyer, who's on a still one more year contract, if Brandon Beane winds up releasing Poyer, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Poyer as well. But I would think, in my opinion, you keep Poyer on his deal, and you either sign a quality safety free agent, or you draft one, in a higher round there and get yourself a quality safety in the NFL draft. But the guys right now, like Damar Hamlin, Cam Lewis, they're just not the answer. So, but yeah, I would be up for Taylor Rapp returning for sure. All right, next up. Defensive end, Shaq Lawson, who loves coming back to Buffalo. We all know that. He likes to sign his one-year deals here. He did it back-to-back seasons. I thought he did okay this year. I didn't think he stood out, but he still brings the energy. He did make some plays this year. Not a lot, but he's a good depth piece. Once again, we're talking depth, right? I would be up for it if, once again, it's a short contract, another one-year deal, team friendly. He knows the system. He knows McDermott's, he knows the players on this team, right? So I would be up for it, but I wouldn't count on Shaq Lawson being re-signed. I think the Bills are going to probably go to the draft and get another edge. Next up, man, I keep doing that. Sorry, guys. Next up, defensive end, A.J. Epinesa, 25 years old, just got done with his rookie deal. A guy that really turned it around over the last 2 years. I thought this year he took a giant step forward. I thought last year he took a step forward, but it wasn't a big step forward. I think this year he understood that it was a contract year. He understands that he's about to get paid, and he showed his worth on the football field. I thought he did really, really good. He had a couple injuries that set him back. The rib injury set him back, but I thought he made a lot of good plays this year. I thought he stepped up his game, and he's about to get paid. And I don't think it's going to be in Buffalo. And that's okay, man. So, listen, I wish A.J. Epinesa the best. You earned whatever you're about to get, but he won't be back in Buffalo. I'll be real surprised if he's back in Buffalo. All right, edge, Leonard Floyd, 31. I told you guys, man, this is now 4 consecutive seasons that Leonard Floyd has gotten over 9.5 sacks. That's impressive, really impressive. I loved the signing when we signed him initially, especially when Von Miller was out. And you saw Von Miller came back and was not the same Von Miller. He was still working through that knee. Now, let's just hope and pray that this 2024 season, Von Miller can return to what we saw initially when we first signed him back in 2023. I'm sorry, 2022. Let's hope we get that Von Miller back, because the 2023 Von Miller just never, got it back, right? He never could get it going when he returned. And guys, I got to admit, it was not a surprise for me. It's a tough injury to come back from. ACLs are no joke. You saw what happened to Trey White when he returned. It just wasn't the same. It took him a while. If you saw Trey White in 2023 to start the season, Trey White was so much better than he was in 2022 when he returned, because he had that extra time to get right. Right? So let's hope that is the same for Von Miller when he returns to 2024, because if not, it's really a bad contract, because then we're just eating away money. But Leonard Floyd, back to Leonard Floyd. I don't know if Brandon Beane feels comfortable signing a veteran, an older edge, though he signed Von Miller, but you can't really compare to Von Miller to Leonard Floyd. Von Miller is a future Hall of Fame, 2-time Super Bowl player. Leonard Floyd is a really, really good player, okay? And it's not a knock on Leonard Floyd. It's just there is a difference there between the two. Now, that being said, Leonard Floyd said he would be willing to come. He would love to come back. We're willing to come back to Buffalo. But he also said he wants that money. He wants to be paid. And the fact that we're in the red and we're maneuvering all these contracts around to get back in the green, I don't know if Brandon Beane's going to willing to shell that kind of money out to a 31-year-old edge rusher and Leonard Floyd. Now, if Leonard Floyd, would be willing to come back on a 2-year type deal that he's willing to work out with the Buffalo Bills, meaning team friendly, then I would totally be up for it, because nothing has shown me Leonard Floyd is slowing down at his age, like while he gets older. Like, he's continuing to put up good numbers. And man, I'll take those 10 sacks every season. I'll take them, because that's one thing we don't do well, is get to the quarterback, sack the quarterback. I thought Gregory Rousseau was going to have a 10-plus sack season. I was wrong. He needs to get better. Rousseau definitely needs to get better, because his rookie contract is ending soon. And then Brandon Beane has a big decision to make, because Gregory Rousseau has he has it all there. He has the size. He has the speed. He has the power. But for some reason, he's just not really putting it all together on the football field. He's still making plays. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying Gregory Rousseau is playing bad football. But he's just, I don't know if he didn't take a giant step this year like AJ Epinesa did, for instance. And maybe, like I said, maybe maybe he does that in 2024, because AJ took a while too. He took all the way to the end of his rookie deal, right, to take that giant step. So maybe it goes for the same for Gregory Rousseau. We'll see. All right, next up. Let's get to the next up. Tyrell Dodson, linebacker. Goodbye. Appreciate what you did this season as, a depth player coming in, filling in for, Bernard when Bernard went down. But I'm sorry, Matt Milano. He also came in for Bernard as well at times. But when Matt Milano went down, I thought Dotson did a pretty good job, though pass coverage was still a problem for Tyrell Dodson. And McDermott just, had to basically use our safeties and Jordan Poyer to go down in the box on passing plays. So, I thought that was credit to, you got to give credit to McDermott for understanding how to use Tyrell Dodson in this system, and cut, basically make up for his lack of pass coverage, right? His weaknesses, that is. So, Tyrell Dodson, really good run defender, not so great in pass defense. So I thought Sean McDermott used this defense perfectly. When Milano went out, he understood what Dodson's strengths and weaknesses were. But I think it's time to move on and get some real linebacker depth on this team, because, the other guy who's on a rookie deal is Spector. And the problem I have with Spector is he shows promise, but he can't stay healthy. He gets injured in camp and preseason. He just can't get into a regular season healthy. And that's a problem. And when he finally did, he got hurt real fast. So he may be one of those guys like a Damian Harris that just has a bad luck, that just can't stay healthy. So yeah, we right now, going into next season, we're going to have good linebacker as far as starting linebackers, and Matt Milano I expect to come back on time. And Bernard, obviously, he was just suffering an ankle injury that will heal, with rest. But you still need depth, as you guys know, as you guys could tell. Injuries happen. It's the NFL. It's 18 weeks, long season, 17 games, right? So we're going to need to add depth. And it's not A.J. Klein. It's not Tyrell Dodson. Now we got Dorian Williams, by the way, too, who could get better. I expect him to get better. I I saw flashes from him this season, but you also saw the rookie side of him, right? Him making mistakes, some missed tackles as well. But I do, like I said, there is some things out there that I like what he does. When he does hit you, he hits you hard. You know you've been hit. So there's some good things I like about Dorian Williams, but we'll see. All right, next up, linebacker Tyler Matakavich, which is more of a special teams guy. Will he be back? He's a Sean McDermott guy. Sean McDermott loves a special teams player. I'm going to go ahead and say he'll probably be back because he's a McDermott guy, and you know how McDermott loves his special teams, even though the special teams has let us down and did not play very well this year. And that could be also because of the special teams coach and Smiley, who, by the way, got McDermott credited, gave him high praise. He's probably staying as well, which is a mistake. But I do see, I could definitely see Matakavich re-signing with the Buffalo Bills. Cornerback Dane Jackson, who we love signing, giving one-year deals to. Will he be back? He's a good depth piece, but I would let him go ahead and sign elsewhere. I think it's time to move on from Dane Jackson, kind of like when they did, they finally let Levi Wallace go. This is another Levi Wallace, right? He's a little better than Levi. I'm not going to crap on him there. I thought he played well in some games this year, Dane Jackson, but he lacks the speed. And right now I really truly believe the Buffalo Bills need speed at corner. And that's one thing that we don't have right now. Rasul Douglas, I love him. He's on number one right now. I think he's a physical type corner. I like his size, but he lacks that speed. Same with Benford. Lacks speed, but he gets back on. He makes plays on the ball. He gets back on the ball. But I really, truly feel like we need to get faster at the corner position, and Dane's not it. All right, next up. I told you guys we have a lot of free agents. Cornerback Cam Lewis, I think they're going to let him walk. If they don't, he probably comes back. Cheap deal. Real cheap deal. So I will move on from that. Defensive tackle Daquan Jones. Man, I don't know if they're going to be able to afford him. I'll be honest with you. I thought they were going to try to get a deal done. If they were going to get a deal done, I thought maybe they would get a deal done in season, but he suffered the injury. And maybe they were. Maybe they were going to plan on. I'm not sure, but he is a free agent now. I thought he had a hell of a start to the season. But then he got the injury, right? Which really hurt this team. It did for a while. Luckily, we went out and got Joseph, but that was later in the season. So, we'll see what they do. We'll see what kind of money is being, offered to him, and see if the Buffalo Bills want to match that. See if he even wants to be back in Buffalo, right? I would love him back in Buffalo, but once again, what kind of money is going to be wanting out there, because he had a really good season up until he got hurt. All right, next up, defensive tackle Tim Settle. Y'all not listen. By the way, Tim Settle, now it could be obviously just a random, just a random thing, but there's a Tim Settle who has commented on a few of my videos this year, does not like my channel because I've said some not so nice things about Tim Settle. Now, it also could be just a fake account, somebody being funny. I don't know. But it is funny, of all people, right? The name Tim Settle, and it's happens to be, by the way, I've never made a video just about Tim Settle. It was videos of me talking about the Bills, and I brung up Tim Settle, and he happened to comment saying, whatever he said, right? His channel's a joke. It's clowns. We're negative. But who knows? But I will say this about Tim Settle. I honestly don't think he's a bad player. He just didn't bring what I initially thought he would bring to Buffalo, right? I really thought he would be a real good quality depth piece, come in and make some noise. And he just he was up and down. He had his moments, but it wasn't enough for me. Now, other people might see it differently, but I just don't see the Buffalo Bills re-signing Tim Settle. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, next up, defensive tackle Jordan Phillips. Man, I love Jordan Phillips. He had a rough year this year. But man, I like that dude. When healthy, he brings it, man. You can never ever, say that Jordan Phillips didn't bring that energy to this team, to this defense, and I respect the hell out of what he did for this team. The juice that he bring, getting Bills Mafia fired up, but he's getting up there in age. Injuries are starting to creep up on him. And I believe I saw something somewhere where he wasn't sure if he was going to retire or not. So if a player's starting to think that about it, more than likely that's what they're about to do. And I don't once again, just like Micah Hyde, I don't blame him. Right? It's a tough sport. You play, all your life, from Pop Warner to high school to college to NFL. And especially when you got all these injuries piling up on you, it's not a fun thing to go through. And I don't blame him if he chooses to retire. But even if he didn't, I don't know if the Bills would bring him back on a 1-year deal. I think the Bills are the right thing right now for me, at least in my opinion, is to get younger on the line, start rebuilding that lineup. But I wish him the best either way. Once again, man, I appreciate everything he did here in Buffalo. Next up, defensive tackle Poona Ford. All I can tell you right now is Poona Ford will never want to be back in a Buffalo Bills uniform. He signed here, for a reason, to get playing time. And I thought Sean McDermott put him in the doghouse way too early. He was inactive most of the season. And I thought he performed well when he was active, and it was surprising how many games he was inactive. So, and it even surprised him. He came out and talked to the media. He said he didn't understand why he wasn't playing. He did everything right. He's having good practices, but he's not getting the opportunity. So he definitely didn't sign here to sit on the bench. So the chances of him coming back to Buffalo are slim to none. I can promise you that. And I really don't blame the guy. So he's a goner. Defensive tackle Linval Joseph. Listen, Linval Joseph is going to do exactly what he did this year. He's going to chill on the couch, and he's going to wait for a team to call him mid-season, late season, for a 1-year deal to fill in for an injury. I thought Linval Joseph played very well. I really do. I honestly, if that happens again and he's available, come on back, buddy. But they're not going to re-sign him. He's going to be. I think he's smart, actually. And his age, he doesn't need to go to any kind of camps. He doesn't have to report to mini camp, like I said, or have to go through, the training camp. He doesn't have to go to preseason. He can miss most. He doesn't even have to play most of it. Like, the guy can just basically chill and wait for that phone call and get paid. So I think in his stage of his career, it's a smart thing to do. And somebody's going to probably wind up needing a player like him to fill in for an injury, and he'll be available. So there you go for that. And that's it. So those are our free agents for the Buffalo Bills, guys. So a lot. There's a lot, and it's a lot on the defensive side. And that's something that Brandon Beane's going to really have to focus on in the draft. Now, I do want to get to some free agents. Let's take a look at some free agents available. And these are not every free agent, but these are the top 10 in each category here, like receiver, running back, quarterback, all that good stuff. So let's take a look here at the free agents. Whoa, really? I got to zoom that in for you guys, man. It's extremely. Okay. I think that's good. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at the free agents, and we'll start with, we'll obviously we'll skip around the quarterback. All right, so top 10 running backs. We got Saquon Barkley coming at number 1, Josh Jacobs 2, Tony Pollard 3, Derrick Henry 4, Eckler 5, Swift 6, Zach Moss 7, Singletary 8. I would love to have Singletary back, but yeah, no, because we need a bigger back. But man, I just love the guy. Antonio Gibson 9 and J.K. Dobbins 10. Okay, so anyone, the guys there that stand out for me on that list, obviously Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry for me. If I had to choose, I'll be honest with you guys, King Henry all day. He's a difference maker. That guy doesn't need the greatest offensive line to move the chains. That's what he does. And man, he would be an absolute stud here, man. You're talking about a two-headed monster with him and James Cook. That would be it. Same with Saquon Barkley. But if I had to choose, like it was me, I think Derrick Henry is the guy. And depending on what he wants, I think the Bills could get it done. Because right here they have him 4th on the list as in the top 10 here. And running backs right now aren't getting paid what they used to. So he could come in at a decent deal. You could get Derrick Henry on a decent deal. Let's say a 2-3 year deal. You saw what he did last year, guys, by the way. Guy still has a lot he has a lot left in the tank. I'm not worried about his age. Right? He hasn't had many injuries throughout his career. I don't know. I would really roll the dice on a Derrick Henry. And I think that Brandon Beane has missed some opportunities in free agency in the past. Like D-Hop, for instance. And it bit us. Because imagine if we had D-Hop this year. Now, I get it. You had to pay him. But D-Hop could have been a difference maker on this offense. Matter of fact, I know he would have been. But we didn't have that, right? And then look where the offense went this year. It struggled. And our receivers struggled. Let's be real. But you had D-Hop on the team. That could have been a difference maker. Really could have been. Imagine D-Hop in the AFC divisional game against Chiefs. When we were struggling to catch the ball, when receivers weren't really making plays besides Khalil Shakir. Imagine. But Derrick Henry, man, yeah, absolutely. All right, next up. Wide receivers. Let's take a look at the wide receivers. T. Higgins, they got 1. Mike Evans, 2. Pittman, 3. Calvin Ridley, 4. Marquise Brown, 5. Gabe, there's Gabe at 6. Okay. 7, Darnell Mooney. Curtis Samuel at 8. Odell Beckham at 9. And Boyd at 10. Okay, you want to know who sticks out there? Obviously, T. Higgins and Mike Evans for me. Those are the two that really stick out. I like Pittman as well. But if I had my choice, I'm going to be real with you guys. It'd be either Higgins or Evans. I might swing more towards Evans because he might be a cheaper deal because he's an older, he's a little bit older of a player than Higgins. But Higgins is a damn beast. I just think Higgins is going to get paid handsomely. And I'm not saying Evans won't get paid, but you might be able to get Evans on a cheaper deal, and I know you will, than you would on Higgins, and maybe even possibly a Pittman. The rest just don't do it for me. So next up on this list is the tight ends. We obviously don't need any tight ends. We're already paying one handsomely, and he hasn't done much as of late, and that's Dawson Knox. So hopefully Dawson Knox, and that's another guy who just can't stay healthy. And I like the guy. I do. But my God, man, like injury after injury every year with this guy. And not only that, the drops. It just seems like we paid him and he definitely has not lived up to his contract. Offensive tackles. Let's look at some offensive tackles. Mike Anwanu, Jonah Williams. I like him a lot. Tyron Smith, Becton, Trent Brown, Devonta Smith, Nijman, George Fant, Mornor, and Jones. I don't think they're gonna go. I don't think they're gonna sign any big time, tackles, to be honest with you. And they're going to sign one, but he won't be on the top 10. I just don't think there's their money there. Offensive line, Robert Hunt, Dotson, Connor Williams, Cushenberry, Jonah Jackson, Zettler, James, Cleveland, Brewer. I mean, once again, I don't think it's going to be a top 10, guys. Defensive line. Now, here's some interesting ones here because we do need to obviously, fill positions that we're losing on the line. You got Chris Jones, you got Wilkins, Justin Matabuk, Leonard Williams, DJ Redder, Fletcher Cox, Grover Stewart, Autry, Sheldon Rakins, and Kinlaw. They're not going to be able to afford any of those first three, I can promise you that, or even Williams probably. Wilkins is about to get paid. I don't think he's going to get paid in Miami. They fucked that up, and I believe he's gone from Miami, but he ain't coming to Buffalo, I can promise you that. We just don't have the money anyway. So I think how they address the line is through the NFL draft. Edge, which once again, we are losing players in Leonard Floyd, AJ Epinesa, and we don't know really what we're getting yet out of Von Miller in 2024, what Von Miller we're going to get. So, and then obviously Greg Rousseau is still a player that's trying to find his way. So we are really thin at edge as well. Number one, Josh Allen, Brian Burns 2, Chase Young 3, Daniel Hunter 4, Huff, Greenyard, Clowney, Van Ginkel. There's our buddy, our boy, AJ Epinesa and Uche. Obviously, I would love if they brung in Josh Allen. No doubt about it. Like, that would be unbelievable. But Josh Allen has gotten so much better and has proved year after year he is going to get paid. And you all know edges get paid big bucks. So the chances of him coming to Buffalo, signing with Buffalo is slim. Same with Burns, same with Young. Hunter is interesting. I wouldn't mind him. But I think, once again, this is a NFL draft thing that Brandon Beane winds up getting edge. Linebackers, Lavu, Queen, Brooks, David, Bobby Wagner, veteran, Willie Gay, Tranquil, Cashman, Alshir, and White, Devin White. Yeah, I mean, they're going to need to get some depth. Devin White, I wouldn't mind. I like Devin White. But honestly, at this point, man, depth-wise, anyone but A.J. Klein and Dotson, right? I mean, I would even take a veteran in Bobby Wagner, right? Cornerback, which I do think we need to get some depth at that position. You saw what happened with injuries this year. It gets rough there. Jalen Johnson, number 1, Sneed 2, Kendall Fuller, I like him a lot, 3, Awuzie, 4, Stephon Gilmore, veteran, 5, Kenny Moore, Thomas, Fulton, Okuda, and Nelson, Steven Nelson. I remember Steven Nelson a while back. We were trying to get him, or we were interested in him, never brung him in. The ones that do it for me there, obviously, Jalen Johnson, Sneed, and Fuller. I just don't think they're going to have enough, cap, or they're going to want to pull the trigger there. Once again, they may go through the draft as well. Safety, which we need. And we're going to need, even if Jordan Poyer stays, he's on his last year, we're going to really have to figure this out, guys. Antoine Winfield Jr., McKinney, Curl, Duggar, Stone, Blackman, Whitehead, Fuller, Elliott, and Gardner Johnson. Obviously, the one that stands out the most is Antoine Winfield Jr. You guys know his dad played here in Buffalo. I would absolutely love if they could figure out a way to get Winfield Jr. Absolutely. Guy's a playmaker. McKinney as well. Love McKinney's game. I don't know much about Curl, and the rest are whatever. Blackman's okay as well. But that's the list, guys. So there's your free agencies. Top 10, each position group, everything but the quarterbacks. I went through there. So, guys, what do you think? Who do you like? Obviously, we're going to dive deeper in this when free agency officially hits. It hasn't hit yet, right? We got to wait for that. And then obviously, you guys know the draft is coming up here in Detroit. I'm going to try to make it to Detroit for the NFL draft. and go live with Mikey at the draft. It's going to be a blast. So we're going to, when this offseason starts to really begin, me and Mikey are going to dive deeper in free agency and the NFL draft. So, get ready for that. It's going to be fun. Me and Mikey go live tomorrow night, Friday Night Lights at 8:30. You don't want to miss it because we are going on a 2-week break from Friday Night Lights after tomorrow. And then we will return one more time for a Super Bowl show. And then we're taking another 2-week break and we will return after that. So you definitely don't want to miss these lives because we are going to be taking some breaks soon from that. So, guys, Bills Mafia, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.